The Great Gospel of John, revealed from the Lord through the inner word to Jacob Lorber. Volume 5, chapters 170 and 171. Matthew 16, 20-28. Jesus explains to Peter, "Away with you, Satan!" Chapter 170. Peter's blind enthusiasm and concern for the Lord. But once we were already far out on the sea, I said once again to the disciples, "Wherever we may now end up, be silent and do not reveal me as Jesus, the Christ." And Peter came to me and asked me whether I did not yet know where the ship would bring us. For he was at the rudder and dearly wanted to know where he should be steering. But I said, "Let it go wherever it will. The Father knows already where we will have to go this time." We are still on the path of learning, and our journey goes to the other great bay, where the city of Caesarea Philippi is at our backs, and there we will be able to afford ourselves some rest. But in a few years, we will travel up to Jerusalem on this ship, and then there will be something quite different to deal with. But now we are coming to a place quite near to the previously mentioned city, where, despite our stay of many days, on the opposite side of this particular city, nonetheless no man has heard anything about us. Even the great fire of the city was not able to trouble the inhabitants of this place. But it had to be so that you all will experience yet another type of revelation at this opportunity. But Peter came to me and said, "Lord, what will happen in Jerusalem, in the place of great perdition? For nothing good or happy for man has ever come from that place, and an honest man has never found anything comforting in this city. Above all, arrogance and persecution are always quite at home there. Therefore, I think that it would have been better if you, O Lord, had chastised Jerusalem like this little town, which has certainly long deserved this punishment. About 8 months ago we were in any case in Jerusalem and convinced ourselves that nothing at all can be done with its inhabitants, except for a few people who were single swallows. However, and that does not signal the arrival of summer. Therefore, my opinion would be this: we should not make a great fuss about that proud city of abominations, in which John was recently beheaded and avoided for all time. For such a city is eternally unworthy that you should step on it with your holy feet. That is of course only my humble opinion. Let me know yours as well." From this time on, I began to speak more seriously with my disciples about the fact that I would have to go to Jerusalem according to my Father's will, and would suffer very much there from the elders. The high priests and scribes would be killed by them, but that on the third day I would rise from the dead again. I would then stand there as a victor over all death and over all enemies of life for eternity, as I had already mentioned on Mark's mountain. At this, Peter became quite alarmed, and drawing me aside, said in a commanding, admonishing tone, "Lord, this must never happen to you. You are obliged both to us and to all men to protect yourself." But I turned around quickly and said in a very most serious tone, "Away with you, Satan! You are a stumbling block to me. You think as worldly men think, not as God thinks." Here, Peter was very powerfully shocked, fell down before me, begged for forgiveness, and added, sobbing, "Lord, when we were sailing on this sea to the place where we have now just spent several days, you said to me on account of my faith, 'Simon Judah, you are Peter the rock, and on his rock I will build my church, and the powers of death shall never conquer it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatsoever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and what you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.' These, O Lord, were the holy words from your most holy mouth, literally directed to me, a poor sinner. Yet I have never prided myself because of it, but have always regarded myself as the least amongst us all. And now you call me Prince of Darkness, because I, driven by my great love for you, gave you a warning as a man. Lord, Do you have grace and mercy upon the poor fisherman Peter, who was the first to throw his net into the sea and leave his wife and children to follow you? Chapter 171. The Nature of Satan and Matter. Here I turned again to Peter in the friendliest way and said, I have not disparaged you in the least if I have shown you in the sharp speech your human side. Everything that is human in this world, in a person, his flesh and its various needs from pure earthly considerations, is under judgment. Therefore, hell and Satan, who is the epitome of all judgment, death, night and falsehood, for the whole so-called life of matter, is merely a phantom life and of no value at all. He who sinks back into some aspect of matter is also Satan, insofar as he seeks his salvation in matter and its phantom life. If anyone wishes to break free of Satan and his flesh, let him deny himself and take up this cross that I already carry in spirit and follow me. For I say to you, whoever wishes to save this earthly life will lose it spiritually. But whosoever loses his earthly life for my sake shall find it spiritually. For what will a man gain by winning the whole world with all its treasures, while at the same time he loses his soul? Or what can a man give that will free his soul from the bonds of matter, judgment, and death? For indeed it will come to pass that I, now the Son of Man, shall at some future time return in the glory of the Father with all the angels, whose power you know. But then, as now, he will only be able to help and reward every man according to his own works. Whoever will be found dead will remain dead until such time when all those who have remained in the graves of judgment will be raised too. Even then, every man's judge will be forever his love, will, and conscience. But those who live according to my words and do deeds of true self-denial and inner free love will never see or feel death. Verily, to my great joy and yours, I can say to you that there are some of those who are standing here who shall not taste or feel death, and shall be witnesses of everything until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom with whom they will reign forever. But for that much love for God and for one's fellow man is required. Truly, if there is any father or mother here who only care about looking after their children well in this world, and do not pay attention to the higher value of the life of the soul of their children, have dug themselves and their children a grave for eternal death. For whatever is of the world is also of Satan, thus of judgment and the death of matter. Truly, all matter is determined to be awakened through the power of an otherworldly pure spirit, to be resurrected from the long judgment. But then matter must transform according to its well-ingrained free intelligence into the correct form and wisdom of its otherworldly spirit, which is a light from God. If this does not happen by the matter, the otherworldly spirit returns to its source, and the matter that should have been awakened forever falls back once again into its old judgment, and will have to wait there until once again an otherworldly spirit awakens it to a new test life. But because things are that way and not otherwise, nor can they be, I came myself from above to you people of this earth, and am now showing you all the full truth of all forms in life and its good or bad conditions. And you, my Peter, will hopefully now be clear about why I have just said to you, away with you, Satan! Now forward into the great bay,